clubs and what they've been up to following the completion of the Tier 1 competition, especially. So we'll be looking at some of the bigger clubs who have been very involved in transfer activity, and that will be our focus for today. On Thursday, we'll be taking a look at all the other clubs, the Adriana Stars, the Mediama, and so on. Today, we'll be looking at Kotoko and Heart and a bit of Liberty Professional. So that is what we would like to do. Let us know what you want to know from Heart of Folk, from Kotoko, in terms of their transfer activity. And later on in the show, we've got a couple of guests from across the country, actually, who are fans of the various clubs, and we'll be doing the discussion with them in terms of what they expect to see from their teams, and so on and so forth. So today is very, very, very fun engagement, heavy on the Joysports track. We begin the show now. We're also streaming now on Joy 99.7 FM's Facebook page. Let's go to Kumasi now, which is where all the action has been happening in terms of the local transfers, really. Arguably, the busiest club has been Asante Kotoko, arguably. Kelvin Owusu-Ansah, thank you very much for joining us. He's from Love FM. Hi, Kelvin.
Hello, Gary.
Yes, so the Porcupine Warriors, very interesting for those uninitiated. Now, they had a good season, per their standards, because what constituted the local championship, the Tier 1 of the Normalization Committee Special Cup, was what they were able to annex. And many would have thought that continuity would have been the watchword with a lot of players staying. But Kelvin, as it stands, from the coach down to the players, there's a lot of changes happening with the Porcupine Warriors, right?
Well, yes, there's been a lot of changes, and Gary, just as you said, many of the fans were expecting continuity with a number of changes to the setup, but it looks like Asante Kotoko themselves had other ideas. Even if the coach, CK Akona, has stayed on, a number of the management members revealed that he had about 13 players to be put on transfer, and he needed new players, so which could have amounted to the same 13 or 14 new players he would have expected in his new team. So when the change came for the new coach as Cheto Zachariasen to take over, it was very much expected that definitely a new coach with a new philosophy would definitely make changes to the team and bring in a number of new players, which he wanted to. But you can say he's had very minimal influence on the transfers. A number of players coming in from his own recommendation, Godfrey Esiama from Ashanti Gold, and then Adingra Musa Bidodan, who was later on had his contract terminated and he had to go back to his home country. I think these are the two that he's had very great influence on. But with the rest, it looks like they've been just from recommendations from the old coach, that is CK Akono, and then a number of technical people who are working for Asante Kotoko, and I know Coach Ebenezer Sefa is one of them, making a number of recommendations. But as to whether all his recommendations have been factored into the new players and then the technical team, that is the question to be answered later by himself and then the management.
Right. So 14 players have come in. You've given us a bit of a background.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about these 14 players. How many of them have come from the local setup? We know that a few international transfers have been done as Kotoko look to beef up their squad or their fortunes ahead of the Continental Club competition.
Well, very well, and I think we'll start from the goalkeeping department. We know Kotoko had 4 goalkeepers already: Felix Anan, Muntari Tego, Osei Kwame, and then Danlad Ibrahim, who is currently with the national Black Satellite. So now they've had Kwame Ba join in the setup now. He's a former goalkeeper for the Allies, and then he joined now. So they have 5 goalkeepers now. We know Kwame Ba being with Inter Allies, played in the local league, and he was recently training with Atram's Academy. So he joins the goalkeeping department to make them 5, and that is a big questionable for a top club like Asante.
5 goalkeepers?
5 goalkeepers
wow.
in the setup now, yeah. So now they have Osei Kwame, Muntari Tego, Kwame Ba, and you ask yourself, if Kotoko had 4 goalkeepers already with Danlad, the younger of the other, the younger of the 4 goalkeepers, who's a lot of competitive action. Let's not forget he played against Ashanti Gold, and then as class of folk in the just ended Tier 1 competition. So he's had all the experience that he needs, and as part of the under 20, he was supposed to be, or he's expected to be, a backup for the older three goalkeepers. But now they have Kwame Ba in their fold, so they have 5 goalkeepers now when Danlad returns from the national under 20 camp. Well, in the defense, they have a player from the local scene, Empem Da Costa, whom after impressing in the Tier 1 competition from Karela United has joined, as well as Patrick Yeboah, a left back. Kotoko have had issues with their left back position since the likes of Barbara Maneric Donkor played very well for them. They've always had a makeshift in Amos Frempong or Augustine Sifa. Daniel Dakwa, as we know, was released, so definitely they've brought in Patrick Yeboah, and new player Stephen Ayikutete has also joined the team. He's a central defender, so he backs up because there is the absence of Abdul Ghani, who's been injured and wouldn't play a part in Asante Kotoko's Africa campaign. Just hope that he recovers in time, and if Kotoko progresses to the group stages, yes, he can probably make a return.
Tell us a bit about Ayiku. What's his background?
Well, Ayiku is a player who's been in La Côte d'Ivoire. He's a very tall, stout centre back. He played a number of times for Shooting Stars Academy, they call it, and he went to Ivory Coast, trained with ASEC before, and he was a player who was expected to make a move to Andorra to play in that league, but he couldn't. So upon the recommendation of the new coach and then Bright Obeng, who was assistant Zachariasen back at Ashgold, they feel that he's a very good player, and he's also joined the folds of Asante Kotoko. We saw him in the number of friendly and practice games that Asante Kotoko had at Madakojachi, and he seems to be a towering figure, but as to whether he can fit into the team very well is another question. Let's not forget they still have Habib Mohammed, who joined from Ashanti Gold, playing in central defense, and then Ajaman Bedu is also still around, as well as Wahab Adams, who's returned from injury to get himself back into fitness. So I think it's so that's in there. And in midfield, Alex Didi Arnold, yes, he's also a central midfielder, very witty, crafty. He played in the local league in Ivory Coast, yes, and we've had very sketchy news with regards to him. We haven't had a lot from him, but we know that he's had a number of stints with a number of local teams or in the second tier of the Ivorian League, and probably could add up to the very good midfield of Asante Kotoko. Let's not forget Richard Senano is absent because of his injury. He's recuperating. Kwame Bonsu has also left to Esperance de Tunis, and it looks like Prince Aqua and the rest are not doubling up. Kotoko had to result in making a makeshift almost every now and then for Ajaman Bedu and Habib Mohammed in midfield during their normalization Tier 1 competition. So I think he would be a very good addition. And Justice Blay, we've known him from Mediama, very strong combative midfielder who covers very well as a shield for the defense, and very good with distribution. And with the absence of Senano, who was expected to do that job, I think he would be very good. Godfred Esiama, a free agent from Ashanti Gold, he's well known to be a very clever player, cuts in from the right, and he's a left-footed, has very good drives, careless, and then you can expect him that in the absence of Maxwell Bakon, he would be able to make the lateral defense of opponents work with Emmanuel Jemfi also on the other side of the flank. Augustine Oka, yes, former goal king in the Ghana Premier League. Yes, he went outside to play his club football. For the past year, surprisingly, Augustine Oka hasn't played competitive football for close to a year. So we counted, and it was about 10 months of him missing competitive football, but he's been training on the sidelines, and they feel that with his experience he can double up. Likewise, Kelvin Matthew Andor, formerly of Wow Stars, he's also not seen very much of competitive football. He could have played a part in Wow Stars recently, but because they had these administrative issues and couldn't play in the normalization Tier 1 competition, he also couldn't make it. So he's also been out for the past 8 months. But Mudasir Salifu, yes, he's a very young player, another central midfielder. He had a stint with Brecum Chelsea, and then he had issues with regards to contract treatment wasn't really right. And as a free agent, after he was released by the team after several disagreements with them, he's joined Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And we saw him in the last friendly game that he played against Omnisport at the Babaya Sports Stadium. And he looks a bit promising, very workaholic, has enough speed and tracks the ball very well. Kuyate Mamadou is also another midfielder who's joined in from that is Mali.
Okay,
Yes,
Kelvin. Yeah. So we just wanted an overview of these 14 players,
sure.
because today's show is not the one will go very, very deep into it. Just an overview to introduce our listeners to it. Okay. Today is more of fun engagement, and that's why we have Apieje on the line. Apieje, thank you very much. He's a stalwart Asante Kotoko fan. Hi, Apieje. How are you doing?
Fine.
Okay, fine. So we got Kelvin from Love FM to give us an idea of what your club has been doing. You were saying on Facebook that, yes, it's true that you've got 14 players in, but you don't think it's a problem because if 14 new players is what you need to compete, then that is what should be done, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So last season, one of our challenges was that our bench wasn't that rich. So anytime we wanted to make substitution, the players that were replacing the players wasn't good enough. So with these players, I think we can do better. Now our bench will be a quality one.
You heard some of the names Kelvin was mentioning.
Yeah.
If you look at the players Kotoko has brought in as a fan, where do you think are the key areas that the team should have looked at? And are you satisfied that they've been sorted out?
Yeah, I'm really satisfied. Concerning the central midfield, the one Senenu was playing last season.
Yeah.
When Senenu got injured, he didn't get any potential player to replace him. The coach was changing Amos Frimpong and Habib. Sometimes he was using Habib and Amos Frimpong to play that position, but they weren't able to do it to our satisfaction. Now, with the introduction of Justice Blay and Didi, I've watched them when we played against Wahimo and the last match we played. I was really impressed with their performance, and I think with their inclusion, our team can make it.
Nice one. I'll come and ask you about the Fatau Safiu situation at PAJ. So give me your thoughts on that. Hold on. But Kelvin, what's the issue with Fatau right now?
The issue with Fatau right now is when Helsingborg FK decided to take him on loan for 6 months, they wanted to pay Asante Kotoko a paltry $30,000 for that 6 months and probably go onward to sign him for, I think, a fee of about $65,000. But his camp and then Asante Kotoko weren't happy with that decision, and then they decided to up it and pay $100,000 for a transfer, a complete transfer from Asante Kotoko to Helsingborg FK. But they still think that is a paltry sum. And
that's too cheap. Come on, man. That's too cheap.
Yeah, they feel that that is too small a figure for Abdul Safiu Fatau. So they're expecting much more from Helsingborg FK, and the player feels that with a little bit of push and then very good talks, they can up their figure so that he makes that move. So they are still waiting for Helsingborg to make.
So as it stands, Fatau is part of Kotoko's plans.
Yes, he's part of Kotoko's plans. He's part of Kotoko's plans. He's been registered together with Sonia Yakuba. Even the injured Maxwell Bako and Richard Senano, we are hearing that they are part of the team that have been registered for the Africa campaign.
Yeah, but he's not in the team that has been registered to go to Nigeria.
No, the team that is going to Nigeria, those two played. Fatau is not in there, as well as Sonia Yakuba. They believe that in subsequent games or probably the return leg, those players would have been in, and then they would have started training to form part of the coach's plan. Okay,
we don't want to waste too much time on any of the teams. We have to go to Hartness. But lastly, Apia, so if you look at the transfers in general, I know you said you are satisfied, but look at the caliber of teams that are going into this year's African club competition. I'm sure you've had news about how some of them have been beefing up their squads. Are you really sure Kotoko will be ready, in terms of, in terms of cohesion, in terms of bonding, in terms of the amount of playing time these new players would have before they go into Africa, APJ?
Yeah, though the players didn't get enough time to play, you can see that the team cohesion is not up to standard, but I still believe we can make it. The quality of the players, you cannot underrate them. They are very good players, and with time they will make it. We just have to win the match against Kanu players. After that, we come back, we try the next.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Please go ahead.
The management, they are doing a very great job. The players that though some players are going, the likes of Fatau and Amos, they've gone, but the replacements, they are also good players that can replace them. So I think we can make it this time.
Okay, Apieje, thank you very much. But Calvin, stay on the line because I need to ask you a last question. Apieje, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, I can't let you go without asking you about CK Akono. How did you feel when you heard that for whatever reason he was going?
Well, I was really surprised when I heard the news that the management had sacked. Though they didn't sack him, they wanted to upgrade his position to a technical director, but he refused that one. I was really surprised, but they know what they are doing. I think you have to support them.
Okay. Apieje, thank you very much. Calvin, you are in Kumasi. I mean, you get the vibe every time. We've spoken about this before, but going forward and subsequently, what's been the reaction to the whole news that CK is gone? And while I get your views, we'll be getting ready for Heart of Folk. Now, what has been the vibe about CK Akono?
Well, there have been mixed reactions. You know, the fans, after 8 months working with Coach CK Akono, they saw a little bit of progress. In as much as they couldn't see their goal football, but they bought into the coach's explanation that he had a number of players that he wanted to work with almost every now and then getting injured. So he couldn't have the full complement of his team. And they were expecting that with the victory from the normalization tower, moving into preseason for the CAF Champions League, they were expecting something better with the new additions and the players that he could have brought in. But some of them feel that in as much as the management or the leadership of the team helped with the Africa campaign last year, they definitely know what they are about, and they are certainly putting every bit of their support behind the new coach. They seem a bit worried, but they feel that they should give the new coach that opportunity to also work, and probably just like CK Akono had minimal time to perform for the club, Jekyll Zacharias and the new coach and the management can have a better result from the new coach and then the new set of players coming in.
Excellent. Many thanks for your time. But before I let you go, though, what should we expect from Kotoko in terms of these new players? I mean, as compared to last season, we know what the weaknesses were.
Yeah.
Yes. What should we expect from this new setup, coach and players included?
Well, I think that we should measure, Kotoko fans should measure the expectations, trust you me, from the practice games that I've seen, the attack still looking listless, not the very best that you want to see. In as much as George Abege, Richard Arthur, Naby Keita, they've joined in very much. It doesn't look too promising for me. And with a creative player in midfield, Kotoko lacked that last season. Kwame Bonsu wanted to do that. He did that quite well a number of games, but he couldn't stand in as the main figure for them. And that is what seems to be the missing link in the team. In defense, well, it's always been that a big G3 is still struggling with those aerial situations. And we hope that the new coach would work on. But for me, I still think that they had very, very little time to work. Anything that comes up should be a plus for the coach and the players, but they should measure the expectation. Asante Kotoko fans should measure it. But, well, with a lot of confidence and then motivation, and I think that determination and the will to succeed, probably they could spring up a number of surprises for me. But for the fans, well, this is their team. But I am saying, just as they heard from a number of their players and then their coach yesterday after the visit to Menchia, they should measure the expectation.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. They have a new captain.
Yeah, Felix. Yeah,
Felix Annan. You think it's deserved? I mean, looking at all the players there,
sure.
I know he has a couple of mates in terms of how long he's been there in the team, but because of his sheer impact, the vibe I'm getting from Kotoko fans is that probably is the best decision.
Well, Gary, trust you me, he's been a deputy captain to Amos Frimpong for the past 2 seasons, I should say, and he was the second deputy captain when Eric Donko was deputizing for Amos Frimpong. So he's been part of the leadership, and you look at his control in the number of the players look up to him anytime they play, and even when some of the foreign players and attackers. You know, he has that background of communicating well in French and then Ga as well as Tree, and then some bits of Hausa. So he has that ability to relate very well with almost every player. And I think that with his appointment, they wouldn't have a lot of qualms about that. Many were expecting Augustine Sefa, very much experienced, to be named as the main captain. But looking at Felix's influence and that experience and his command of the entire team and relationship between management, the fans, and then the playing body, they feel that he's the best option for them. And I feel it's rightly so. After deputizing for the past 3 or 4 seasons and then making a very great impact, cementing his position, I really think that is good for the team. And then just hope that if that is what he wants, then so be it. He's a very good choice for them.
Right, Kelvin Osu, so many thanks from Love FM giving us a complete breakdown of Asante Kotoko. We are not done, actually. We will come to him again on Thursday for the big show. Next up, we are going to Heart of Oak. Michael Ajay is a Heart of Oak fan. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for accepting to be part of the show, Michael.
All right, Gary, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. We took your number off Facebook when I requested fans of the teams. So, First of all, Kotoko have bought a lot, 14 players. Are you satisfied with what Heart of Oak have also done? We are trying to get a Pariado. He promised to speak to us, but we are trying to get to him, and then we put a couple of questions to him. But first of all, are you satisfied with your transfer activity?
I'm more than satisfied with the transfer activity of Heart of Oak this time around. I think one thing is very clear to all the fans now. It looks as if lessons have been learned from the past, whereby the management used to do a wholesome recruitment. And at the end of the day, you realize that you see 6, 7, 8 of those guys not being up to standard. Thereby, the club would have to let them go for nothing. And they will be released. So I think this time around, I'm really satisfied with what is going on. And one thing I like about the club now is that it looks as if things are being done strategically. So when you look at Kim Grant's team as it stands, he looks at where he's had weaknesses there.
So like the structure is working.
And then he gets one player to fill that place he feels the team is very weak in. So for instance, you look at the striker that has been just brought in, Asa.
Yeah.
You and I will agree that Esau, for me, is not an out-and-out striker.
I agree.
He plays like the number 10 who can score goals, but not a typical striker. And what we're clamoring for now is an out-and-out striker who can be able to take the team on his shoulders and bang in the goals when the need be.
Nice one. Michael, I've got something for you. You've got a PRO of Heart of Oak on the line, so maybe you can put a few hot questions to him. Don't spare him.
All right, I would definitely do that.
Opare, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother. Who was speaking before you called me?
No, he's on the line now, Michael Ajay. He's a fan. We got him off Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So he's a fan of Heart of Oak. I have a couple of questions for you or from your fans. Let me see. Somebody says you should change the barracks. What do you call it? The barracks poster on your Facebook page, and because they are not the sponsors, you should take it off.
Yes, Gary.
So Robert Nelson, that's from Robert Nelson. Let me read a few. He says, please tell Aparado to direct the one handling their Facebook account to change the barracks cover picture to the Umbro one. This one also says, it's from Idrisu Sungrinoma. He says, House of Oak must take a second look at the cost of the jersey that is being sold at the Secretariat. How many people can afford to buy the jersey at 165? This is not Europe. So those first two things, what do you have to say?
Yes, Gary, thanks very much for this opportunity to reach out to our supporters. Let me deal with the first question first. And his question is about the barracks, right? We should take it off from our Twitter handle and our Facebook. Yes, I want to assure him that it is something that we have not forgotten, but we want to make sure that once we get all of our players, that will be going into next season. Then we'll take a group picture. Then we'll be able to do that.
Okay, all right.
As I speak to you now, if I had put any player out there and then now we have Benazanta joining, it means that we still have to change.
Okay.
So our appeal to them is to bear with us. It is in mind. We are working on it. We just want to have a complete squad and we'll put it out there. And then the next question is about the price of our barrel.
Yeah.
Yes, we understand that it hasn't come that easy to raise 160 or 150 visits, but we are appealing to them that represents your support to the team. And if
okay.
you are not buying an inferior product, there's something quality that we all understand that for all the jerseys that we have, not to tarnish the image of anybody, but for all the jerseys that we have used, gone by, we all understand that.
This one is on another level, eh? Anyway, let's move on swiftly. We don't have a lot of time because we want to cover as many clubs as possible. For the benefit of listeners, Opariado is sounding windy because he's at the beach. Yes, he's enjoying his holiday at the beach, so that's why he's sounding very windy. But Michael J is on the line, and he says that he's generally happy with the transfer activity. He also says that Kim Grant is being strategic in the recruitment, and he's happy. Tell us a bit about the new players who are coming in, starting with Benadatha.
Yes, thanks very much, Gary, once again. We got Benadatha last week. That is when we signed everything. But as part of our communication plan, we have to time everything that we do and make sure that we release it at the most appropriate time. So we all decided together with the player, we had to let him understand that we want to do the release today, this mid-morning. And Benadatha is one player that the coach's analysis and his scrutiny shows clearly that we need somebody, after all the work has been done by Esso and Fatau and Michel, Manaf, all the players, we need somebody that we can say that he's going to do the banging in and he's going to get us as many goals as we want with the support of everybody. So we looked really well to make sure that we settle on the most suitable candidate. And when the choice was made that it is Benadatha, the coach defended it so well. We all accepted it. It's a collective decision that we believe so much that in Benadatha, we have somebody who is coming to add up to the services that the players will provide so that we'll be able to, as we continue to create chances. Gary, you know that the past season we created more chances than any other team.
Any other team, yes.
If you can have a player that will bang in the goals as the others create the chances, it means that we'll be flying very high. So that is the decision, and we are happy to have you.
Right. Today is not about me; it's about the fans. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So your PR is on the line. Anything you want to ask him about the transfer activity, where they should beef up? Anything?
Okay. Yes, I have some questions.
Please go ahead.
I would like some suggestions to do. First of all, would have to do not necessarily about the transfer, but I think about the training pitch and then the stadium issue. Because some time ago, I heard of Paris saying that I think in March, that was in March, some work should have been done. Later on, I heard the new MD, Mr. Mo, saying that very soon. How soon is that very soon? The other thing is that you realize that in the course of the season, in the absence of Hassan, we had issues. And most of it had to do with Ejari not being able sometimes to play to the system of Kim Grant. Then Ado steps in. I think it's Robert Ado, if I'm not mistaken. Now we need a player in the mode, a box-to-box midfielder, who will be able to partner Afutu in the midfield. Because when we played Koto, I realized that Afutu alone was not able to do the job effectively. And they were running rings around him.
Yeah.
We need some kind of a midfielder.
What
I want to tell Opari is that their Facebook platform, they are not so much responsive. Sometimes you send them recommendations, give them suggestions, and then nothing. For instance, about the issue that had to do with the phobia for life, I was asking for weeks. I was hearing on radio. I wanted to hear it formally from the club. Then we know the next move to take. The jersey issues. I was saying that no, if that is the case, give it to them. We have new NTV leaders. Give it to them, every region. Give them some number of jerseys to sell. That is their duty. That is what they can do to help the club as we stand. But nothing, I don't know what is going on.
Anyway, thank you very much. Opari, in just a minute or two so that we can move on to our next thing. You've heard him here.
Respond to him from the jersey first. Yes, I don't want to say he doesn't know what is going on because he's not finding out or he's not reading what we are doing.
Sure.
The issue is that with the jerseys, we have liaised with the NCC chairman and the entire NCC to make sure that all the regions get it.
Okay.
When I went to Kumasi to sell the jerseys there, I didn't go alone. The NCC chairman was involved. Today, I've had other discussions with my CEO, the NCC chairman. I had discussion with him on Saturday. We have to take it to the other regions. And
sure.
That is exactly what we are doing. We are not doing it without the support of the NCC because we have to make sure that collectively we get it done. What? Yes.
Yes.
That is the first one. On the social media, responses on social media and all other things. Gary.
Yes, we are here.
You can put somebody, you can respond, you can put something on social media and say that if you want A, contact B, right? They say you have about 50 people asking the same question that you have answered over and over again. Over and over again.
Obare, you and I need to have a separate conversation on that because it's a question that a lot of brands around the world, but you see, your fans are your most important asset. If they ask,
I'm not running away from.
I know. If they ask 2 million times, you have to answer them 2 million times.
If I continue to respond and respond and respond and respond, at least when you also ask me a question, right?
Yes.
And I have not responded in a matter of 30 minutes to 1 hour, and you read through all the others, at least you also find the answer.
You also find the answer. Okay, I understand you.
I'm not running away from it that I don't want to respond to it.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Sure.
That is something I appreciate whatever they are doing. Then yes, again, he asked about the presence of Abuju and all other things. I want to assure him that yes, we it's part of our communication plan not to mention anything that we are not conclusive on.
That's fair. That's fair.
Why we never mentioned anything about Benedasa until this morning that we have mentioned it. We all recognize what we need to make sure that our team will be as solid as a winning team that will be able to win the title. They should keep their fingers crossed.
Okay.
We will have it as we work on it. And the last one is he asked about Fobiman. I am giving him assurance that I don't want to say by the close of this week.
Operator assurances are becoming plenty assurances.
You are now, I don't want my feet is on. I'm giving him the assurance that if you give me before the end of this month, you hear the good news.
You hear something. Anyway, so Michael, the man says your house soon is soon is soon is soon. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Michael AJ, many thanks for your time. We appreciate you coming on Joy FM to speak to your PRO. Opare, thank you also.
Gary, I hope you're going to be at the Lafam Beach this Thursday, right?
What's happening?
No, I thought you were going to do the transfer.
So the communication. We did the warm-up last week at the Lagoon Bar of Labadi Beach. That was the warm-up. But we will do the show itself from 3 to 6 p.m. in the studio. But this Friday, yes, we will announce something that will happen hopefully at the Labadi Beach this Friday. I'm behaving like a pariado. Me too, I'm not confirming. So, yes. All right, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate your time. All right, so that was for House of Folk. If you just joined us, we are having a fun zone interaction for our local clubs as we do the transfer countdown. The main show is on Thursday, but today we've just paired a Kotoko fan with our correspondent in Kumasi, and now we've paired the Hearts PRO with the Hearts of Folk fan. We'll go to Liberty Professionals pretty soon. I know they are not one of the major clubs, but there's something interesting that's happening with them. While we wait for that to be done, let me welcome my Chelsea fan in studio. Hi.
Hi.
Yes, you are from Accra, Newtown.
Yes, please.
Yes, we got him off our Facebook page as well. What's your name? Introduce yourself.
My name is Joseph Paddy.
Joseph.
Yes, please.
Good. We've heard our Hearts PRO and our Kotoko people say that they've signed a lot of players. But you Chelsea people, because of your transfer ban, you are not doing that. How do you feel about the entire transfer process of Chelsea this time?
Okay, let me start by saying a big good afternoon to my Chelsea fans out there. And I would like to assure them that Super Frankie is here again, this time around as a manager. But people don't believe in him, saying they have some lot of doubts. But I would say that just believe in Super Frankie. And without transfer, I've always said that this may be a blessing in disguise for Chelsea, because we have a lot of quality players out there on loan, about 44 or so of them. And I think they are good players playing in some of the big clubs in Europe. And I think this will be a blessing in disguise. So I'm not worried about our transfer ban. I think our players on loan can live up to the expectation.
Nice one. We've just done Chelsea. I'll come back to you because you are in studio. You there. I have time for you, Paddy. But let's go to Liberty Professionals. Godfred Akotobuafo is the general manager. Godfred.
Yeah, hi Gary.
Yeah. We've heard from Hart and Kotoko. Your Liberty people to say we should call you, so we are calling you.
Thank you very much.
Your people say that you guys, as we know, you don't transfer players, but they want to know who is coming from the academy.
Well, it's still 2 days yet. We're still looking through the young boys. Our technical director Celastete has been very busy the past 2 weeks with the.
Celas is back.
He's always our technical director. When he's in the country, he's our technical director de facto. It's not a position that ever changes.
But we know he went to the North Small.
Yes, but we sent him on loan.
What was it again? To FC Utrecht? Was it Utrecht? It was?
No, he went to Tamale City.
Tamale City. Okay. All right. Okay, so he's back to his mother club. What's he been doing?
Well, yes, basically he's been along with head coach right now, Dasante, looking through the academy, going around looking at some of the talented young players who are available to see who fits into our setup for the coming season. So primarily that is what we have been doing. As you rightly said, Liberty has never been a club that will spend big money on transfers. We are looking for the next big talent. We are not ashamed to say we are a developmental club that aims to develop and sell in order to keep ourselves afloat.
Yeah.
So that is the stark reality of the markets that we are in. Ours is a very small market in Dansoman, and so we are not expecting to be dealing at the size that Kotoko Hearts, Diana, and the rest are dealing in. So primarily that is what we have been focused on. And we've looked at a couple of really talented players. We are reaping the benefits of this particular exercise now because half of our team that played in the normalization
Committee Special Cup
are not even around. They've all left.
Wow.
So we need to replace it. We need to replace at least 15 players. So it's a very hard task, but our technical team are hard at work. And by the time a league season begins, and we're hoping it is soon, we should have a decent enough crop of young boys who will excite the country again. And at least there will be a bit of experience, albeit young experience. We have a player like Elvis Tebafo, who is the arrowhead of the current.
And everybody is talking about him.
Yes, Elvis Tebafo, for my money, people might say I'm biased, but for my money, he's the best under-20 player in this country right now. Anybody who has seen him will tell you so. He's skillful on the ball. He knows how to score, makes right decisions, and he still has a long way to go. But if he keeps his head on, I expect him to become a very, very good player for Ghana. He will become the experienced one. Come to think of it, a player who is still playing in the under-20 squad will be the most experienced player in the squad. But that is what our team has become. So yes, we are looking at the next level.
Nice one. So we'll be keeping tabs on that, Godfred. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much as well, Gary.
Okay, so Godfred Akotobuafo is from Liberty Professionals, bringing an end to our local bit. Like I said, we'll continue with some of the other clubs because there's a lot of activity happening with Mediama and Mediana and so on. We'll dedicate the next 10 minutes to the international as well. We do have the Real Madrid fan also on the line, and we have a Chelsea fan in studio. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Real Madrid.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gary.
Yes, what's your name? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, my name is Promise.
Promise, Real Madrid. You say you're a Real Madrid diehard. You're a Madridista.
I'm a Madridista.
Yeah.
I'm a Madridista.
Yeah.
I drink Madrid. I sleep Madrid.
Hopefully, you win trophies with Madrid. How do you feel about this whole Gareth Bale, not Karim Benzema, Zinedine Zidane, kerfuffle that's going on? Do you think it's going to affect the team chemistry?
When it comes to Gareth Bale, Gareth Bale is a very good player, no doubt about that. But the thing is, we want players that we can rely on. We don't want any glass man this season. We don't want any glass man this season. So, but with the injuries setting in with Marco Asensio, I think Gareth Bale has just got a chance to prove himself to the Madrid stars. I think that's basic. But Gary told me, I don't really know why Madrid is always trying to push James Rodriguez away. I don't know. You remember the Champions League match?
You can't think far, eh?
To score. Yeah, right. I don't know how come the manager doesn't want to work.
Okay. Let's do something here. Assuming he stays, how would you play him? Then we can start from there.
Casemiro is there, right? We need a backup for Casemiro, and Rodriguez can easily do that. Rodriguez can easily do that.
But the thing is, let's be fair. Maybe it's about his wages. He's on big wages as well.
Oh, Charlie, Madrid. We are the biggest club in the world.
You sure?
We are the biggest club in the world. When it comes to money, it's nothing. It's nothing. So you are pushing the young guy away to come back and score the Champions League again. We need to take a good look at that.
But generally, just to wrap up on Real Madrid, you are satisfied with the transfer activity?
Oh, of course. You got Hazard coming in, Jovic, and the young stars. We are really satisfied. We are just looking forward for a good season, even though the preseason is some way. But Madrid is known for bad preseasons under our manager. So we are just hoping for the best. And
so, final question before I go to the next. Stay on the line, but final question: you are going to take the title back, the La Liga?
We always say that the Champions League is our birthright, but this time around, I think the focus will be more on the La Liga. I think so.
All right, let me now bring.
I don't really have high hopes for the La Liga in a way, but we'll look at it and see.
Eddie, you there?
I did, Gary.
Your man promised from Real Madrid says that you guys are going to relinquish the La Liga. Or tell him something.
You heard his last statement.
Yeah.
He's not even sure about them winning the La Liga. It's been like this for 8 years now, and then they'll just win one or two out of it. But for the transfers, let me just hint on it. Bringing someone who is 11 kg and then talk about transfer. I have no idea.
Hold on. Are you throwing shade at a certain former Chelsea superstar?
I don't want to mention any name. You're on a 7 kg on diet now, and then you get to 11 kg. Real Madrid has been like this. They were once the biggest club, but for now, a club who is able to spend more than 200. Come on, Real Madrid is not the biggest club.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Since you are the Barca fan here, I mean, we heard what Messi said in the last 20 to 48 hours. He didn't really apologize for sticking his neck out last season, but he says that he's sure that they are going to give it all again for those trophies. Looking at how you guys have had your transfer issues, the Coutinho stuff, whatever is going on, are you really, really sure you can do the double at least this season?
Very, very sure. Looking at this last season, you can see, Gary, Barcelona should have this Champions League. Winning 3-0 and then losing 4-0 to Liverpool. We could have just won this Champions League. But so far, the reinforcement in the team now, I think it's good. It's not really what I was actually looking for. Frankie, Fairpool. Griezmann is good. Yes, Griezmann is, I think, the second best player in Spain now, if I'm not mistaken.
But Messi is injured, you know that.
Yes, Messi is injured just this morning. I think it's really not too good. We will need him coming this 2 weeks, Mames. So, him being injured for now, it's not too good. He's been on a long holiday. He needs to look sharp and all. But missing the US tour won't do anything bad. But
okay.
Overall, I think the transfers are good.
Gary.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Gary. You didn't tell me that I have my rival on the line.
Okay, so just wrap up quickly. I really need to do the Chelsea fan in studio, and I don't know if I can get an extension from my programs manager. But let me see. The way the program is hot, maybe I can convince him. Go ahead.
All right. So what I want to say is I'm really looking for Madrid to pen down a contract with Van de Beek. You know, right now we like the small boys. We don't want to suffer any fate when it comes to going forward the next 2 seasons. So I want them to pen down that contract with Van de Beek, and we can see the way forward. But as for my rivals, they will always say we'll fight for everything. We live to see. The season is just coming. But Madrid is coming for them.
Okay.
This is the El Clasico is going to be power.
It's going to be brutal. So wait. Let me ask the two of you before you go. Eddie and Promise, who are going to be the poster boys for Clasico this season? Is it Hazard versus Messi or Hazard versus Griezmann?
Oh, it's basic. It's basic. Right now, we are playing as a team. Right now, what we have is a team. Is
it Real Madrid who is talking today?
Hey! We are not players as a team. We don't want it. Remember, we are known for having a lot of options. Okay, we are known for having a lot of options. So we don't like this thing.
One at a time.
You wait. We'll just mark. If Messi is just mark out, that is the end of Barca. You know that.
All right, guys. Let's save this discussion for Thursday for the main show. All right.
Yes.
Make a day to that.
I will make sure I come to the studio.
No worries. We'll call you in the backstage and see what we can do. 3 to 6 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is just a teaser, and then we'll see what we can do on Thursday. Thanks, guys, for joining us on the Joysports track today. So, my Chelsea fan is in studio. Yeah. Have you heard your Madrid people?
I've heard of them.
And your Barcelona people.
Don't mind them.
So, I mean, if you hear what they've got, how do you even think you have a chance in the Champions League?
They are always bragging, thinking the Champions League belongs to them. But like Tottenham Spurs went into the Champions League last season with nobody expecting them to even make it to the quarterfinals. Sure. That is how Chelsea is going to do it this season, believe me. You know, Chelsea are always the underdogs. Even in 2012 when we won the Champions League, we were the underdogs. And with the young guys, I think Chelsea is going to prove a point in the Champions League this season.
Right. So we know that the transfer activity, what the story of Chelsea is. However, the young players, you look at the young players, what will be your starting 11? What's it looking like from what you saw in preseason and all?
Okay, from preseason, I would say Kepa as usual. And then in the back four would be Aspilicueta, David Luiz, Rudiger, and then Emerson. I think Emerson should get the edge over Alonso. And in midfield, I will go.
You prefer Emerson?
Yeah. Over Alonso.
Okay,
he's quick on the ball. And then in midfield, I'll play Kante and Jorginho ahead of the back four. And then Pulisic, Mount, and then Barkley or Loftus-Cheek.
Barkley?
Yeah. Barkley, Pulisic, and Mount.
I have a bias to also Loftus-Cheek.
Barkley, Pulisic, and Mount. Behind the striker, either Abraham or Giroud. I'll go with that.
Giroud to start?
Yeah.
Hey,
I think I would like Abraham, but
Tammy
from the preseason performances and I would think he needs some small time to.
Okay, let's look at the youthful players you have. What plans would you have for them? How would you play them?
I thank God we got Pulisic in January.
Yeah,
thank God we got him. He's good. I think he's not going to fill the boots of Eden Hazard but trust me, he might score more goals than Eden Hazard. He's a goal scoring midfielder, and we've got him now. Now we've got Mount, who is the gaffer's choice, who he would always start. So I think with the young players, Chelsea is going to prove a point. Remember, we have Reece James and all those. Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi will be back from injury. And then mixing up with the experienced players, I think we're going to prove a point.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We didn't think that 1 hour would be...
Yeah.
But here we are. We are
getting hot up.
Yeah. I'd like to apologize to the Man City guys. We couldn't call the Arsenal guy. Man City, Arsenal, I think from the other clubs, we promised to call you. So we'll shift you guys to Thursday, but I'll get in touch with you on Facebook right now and do that. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for contributing. I'm Gary Al Smith, and so this is just a teaser of what we should expect on Thursday with our transfer. But the difference in what we'll do on Thursday is that we are going to have correspondence from the clubs themselves to let us know what is going on with the various clubs here in Ghana and also in Europe. So the Joy Transfer Countdown is live on Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m. And a special business edition with the Joy Business team will also be here from 5 to 5:30, where we talk about the business side of the deals. Join us for that one. Lastly, the Joy News Habitat Fair, the mini clinic is still ongoing at the Achimota Retail Center. And so for all your deals and steals in the housing sector, it's a one-stop shop. So you can get everything you need. Make sure you are there, please. And then at Chimota Retail Center, lots of exhibitors catering to your needs. Today is the last day. So please make your way there. It's a holiday. There isn't a lot of traffic. So please go to the Chimota Retail Center. Join Youth Habitat Fair Mini Clinic. So from all of us here at Joy FM and the Joy Sports team, that's about it for the Joy Sports track. Bye-bye.